Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia.
All right. So while Trump gets raided and that's all people can think about, there's other things happening around the world.
Of course.
And we're going to look at Russia here. And this is from France24.com. And the headline, Russia suspends U.S. inspections of its nuclear arsenal. Uh-oh. Not good.
U.S. inspections?
Russia told the U.S. on Monday.
So an adversary who we are at war with, it's a proxy war, but still at war. Mm-hmm. You mean they're not going to let us come in and tinker around with their nuclear weapons?
Russia told the United States on Monday it would not allow its weapons to be inspected under the START Nuclear Arms Control Treaty, that's START, for the time being because of travel restrictions imposed by Washington and its allies.
Oh, because of travel restrictions. Oh, it's COVID or something, huh?
Inspection conditions proposed by Washington created, quote, unilateral advantages for the United States and effectively deprive the Russian Federation of the right to conduct inspections on American territory, end quote, the Moscow Foreign Ministry said in a statement.
Oh, this is because of the travel ban. The Russian travel ban.
Mm-hmm. Russia remained fully committed to complying with all the provisions of the treaty, it added. The United States and its allies, including Britain and the European Union, closed their airspace to Russian planes as part of a barrage of sanctions imposed in response to Russia's decision to send its armed forces into Ukraine in February. The new START treaty, which came into force in 2011, caps the number of strategic nuclear warheads that the United States and Russia can deploy, and the deployment of land and submarine-based missiles and bombers to deliver them. United States President Joe Biden said last Monday that his administration was ready to expeditiously negotiate a framework to replace New START, which is due to expire in 2026, if Moscow demonstrated its willingness to resume work on nuclear arms control. But Russia's mission to the United Nations said Wednesday, Washington had withdrawn from separate talks with Moscow on strategic stability over the Ukraine conflict and needed to decide what it wanted. The following day, the Kremlin said time was running out to negotiate a replacement for New START, putting global security at risk. The conflict in Ukraine has raised political tensions to levels not seen since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, with politicians in both Russia and the United States speaking publicly of the risks of World War III. Moscow says it was forced to intervene in Ukraine to defend Russian speakers from persecution and avert a Western threat to use Ukraine to threaten Russia's security. Kiev and its Western allies say these are baseless pretexts for an imperial-style land grab. And the tensions continue on. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I did not know about this treaty. So all the cool nuclear guys, we can just inspect each other all the time.
Well, I think the idea was to have kind of a rule book, right? Kind of an international rule book of, hey, we got these killer missiles or killer exploding things. And we gotta abide by some rules, otherwise we're just gonna blow each other up. Everyone's gonna die.
Yeah, and they can inspect each other. It's like mutual inspection.
Sure.
It's like Gons. I don't know. You came to the Lord a little late. You started going to church a little late. I don't know if you're familiar with this concept, but it's kind of like Putin and the U.S. are in an accountability group. They got a little accountability group going there.
A little trust fall kind of thing.
Yeah, you ever been in an accountability group there, Gons?
You mean like an AA type of thing where you
nope,
get a sponsor?
No, sorry, Bob.
No? Oh, okay.
No, an accountability group. I know men and women both have accountability groups. Mm-hmm. I do not know what happens in a female accountability group. You can only be in an accountability group with a peer of your
gender. So sexist.
So gendered, very gender based. And you can have an accountability buddy. That's where you start. You start with a buddy, but you can also do a group.
Sure.
And you just keep each other accountable to things that you need to be accountable for.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that's Isn't that kind of like a good friend or a family member? Isn't that kind of
they're
normal?
it's usually a pretty specific thing that you're trying to be accountable for.
Oh,
that is not family friendly.
Okay.
And so that's Putin. That's Putin in the U.S. We are calling off the accountability group this week because we are at war with one another. It is hard to be an accountability group with someone who you are threatening to murder on a daily basis.
Well, yeah, that's and we'll see. I the greater sort of thing, the takeaway is the international sort of breakdown of these rules or the agreements of these rules is kind of grounds for, I guess, more or less a legal, because if there aren't any, it's like the space treaty thing, right? With the nuclear space treaty from 1963 or 64 or whatever it was, where they're like, hey, we can't launch nukes in space. Okay. Nobody can do that. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll just create, like ballistic stuff and
they're calling it off because the U.S. just put in a Russian travel ban where Russians can't come to the U.S. So Russian inspectors can't come inspect our nukes. Yeah. So they're not letting us inspect their nukes. Right. I mean, it's funny because makes so much sense. You want to check in on China? You got anything else with this?
No, I mean, there's other stories coming out of Ukraine and Russia, but I don't know. There are the people who are covering
Wednesday is our Ukraine day. Usually,
we could touch on Ukraine if you want. I don't know if there's anything too interesting.
No, we're on time. Let's stay on track. Okay, here.